All right, welcome back into Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Coming up on that noon hour Central Time, let's take a look and see how your money's doing with these markets. We'll start with corn. It hasn't been going too far from home, and it still hasn't. It's gotten even closer to home. We have a May board that's, look at this, sharply unchanged at 4.39, and we're about right smack dab in the middle of that 7-cent range, 8-cent range. So there you go. We're up or down a quarter cent, one tick up or down across the board. July's off a quarter cent to 4.52. Go out to the D's, that's up a quarter cent, one tick to 4.75. And again, we've had about a 7 to 8 cent range across the board, and we're pretty much smack dab in the middle of it. Let's move on to see what soybeans have got for us, and that too is a very quiet market. At least they're close to home. Now that might be a little bit misleading. Let's go to the May. It's down a half cent, 12.09. All right, no big deal. 5 cents off the low, but we're 17 and 3/4 cents off the high. All right, so that's something you want to see, that we've really backed up here, right? And if you go out to the Nove, that's up 1.5 cents, 12.01 and 3/4. We'll take it, right? Well, really, when you look and see that we're about 14 cents from the high there, we've really backed up, haven't we? So yes, we're close to home, basically unchanged, but we've had some big ranges that we hit some highs overnight. Let's take a look at wheat in Chicago. That's off about 2.5 cents across the board. We have May down 2 3/4 cents to 5.42 1/4. That's 2 cents off the lows and 10 cents off the highs. That'll give you an idea where we trade in that range. You go out to the D, sets down 1 1/4. 5.95 and 3/4 is last, 3 cents off the low, and about 7 cents off the high. So that's what's happening in Chicago wheat. From Chicago, let's go to Kansas City. Take a look at the hard red. That's down 2 3/4 in May. That's up front. 5.77 3/4 is last, 3 cents from the low, and about 10 cents from the high. All right, that's what's happening in the May. We've got a D's board that's down a penny, $6 and 3/4 cents, right? So we've got a 6 in front of it, but not by much. And that's 3 cents off the lows and about 7.5 cents from the highs. Moving from the hard red in Kansas City to the spring wheat in Minneapolis, that's down about 1 1/4 across the board as well. 1 1/4 cents lower in that May contract to 6.53 and 3/4. And I'm going to call that 1.5 off the low of the day there, and a dime off the highs. So you can tell where we're sitting here in all of these, really towards the lower end. D's, that's down one tick there to 6.81 and 3/4, and that is about 1.25 off the high, off the low of the day. Sorry. Let's move on to the cotton and see that is down 25 points. 91.93 is last, and that's 9 points off the low of the day there in May. So everything kind of backing up here going into this noon hour. Why don't we bring in our next guest analyst, and that's going to be Tommy Grisafi. He's with Advanced Trading. Thanks for being on the show, Tommy. All right, brother. Looks like we set some decent prices overnight and just kind of backfilled in there. We just kind of backed up.
Yeah. So what sparked the move last night, Scott, was gold. Of course, stock market, Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, all finished on the high. We had that Fed meeting where I don't know how, by not doing anything and saying everything's okay. Anyway, the markets did what they did. It's not for you and I to argue about it.
Right, exactly.
If we did want to argue about it, we could use our own money to place a bet against it, which wouldn't be going well because the stock market's closed at all-time highs. They're at all-time highs right now. But last night, gold closed about $20 over settlement. That move, gold settles at 12:30. Between 12:30 and 4 o'clock, gold had a big move. Gold exploded after 5 o'clock, up another $40. I believe we hit all-time highs. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And we've since come off that. Just a little bit ago, gold was only up $8. So gold $60 off its high. Explosive rally there in gold. And boy, when you're a commodity trader and it's 5 o'clock or 5:30 and gold's up 60, it doesn't take much risk to say I'm going to buy some corn, some beans, some wheat, and we followed through. But when the grain elevators opened up this morning, we saw real selling. So I did a video last night for my clients. I literally taped something at 8:30. Sent it out to them at 9. I said, listen, we still have plenty of grain. Soybeans have rallied 40 cents in the last 24 hours. This isn't normal, folks. If you're afraid to sell, at least get protected. And I was doing business all the way till 11 o'clock. I guess that's one of the advantages they have in a broker, because I know if they were calling their grain elevator guy at 11, he'd already had 3 hours sleep, he or her. And that's just what we do. So my point of that is not to tell you about my incredible work ethic, but my point is to tell you is that you don't get to pick and choose as a farmer and rancher when you want to take risk or lay off risk. Sometimes the market gives you an opportunity like last night, and I think it was a great opportunity. I'll be interested to see if we take out these highs that we put in last night between now and next Thursday's crop
Yes.
report. That's
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah.
Good Friday's next Friday. So we got a lot of risks that's going to happen. TJ told me to tell you guys, check out March or check out week 5 options. That's what we're going to use, even though they typically expire on a Friday. Week 5 options at the Board of Trade CME Group expiring next Thursday. We have a major report. Back to you, my friend.
All right, brother. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. Great stuff. We're going to come back and talk more livestock with Tommy Grisafi when we come back right after this. All right, welcome back. Let's talk a little livestock, right? You wear this jacket, you got to bring them up. Let's start with the live cattle. I got that one up for us, and we've got an April board that's showing us a 57-point gain, 57-cent gain. 188.37 is last there, and that's in that middle of that range. Nothing really going on there. This is another quiet one. It was quiet yesterday, too. We can go out to the D's. That's up, down 40 cents. Down 40 cents in D's live cattle in Chicago. 190.22 is last there, about 72 cents off of the low of the day. Moving right along to see what feeders have in store for us. Not much going on here either. We do have, let's see, a 27-cent loss in the April. 254.65 is last there. Well off the lows, though, so we're in the middle of that range. We're 42 cents lower in the SEP if you go all the way out the curb to 270.17. All right, moving right along to the lean hogs. We'll get back to our guest analysts. They're showing a little bit more losses. April's down 65 cents to 84.65. And if you go out to, say, the July, that's off $1.80 to 101.52, and that's about, what, 17 cents off the low of the day. So that brings us back to Tommy Grisafi. He's in Valparaiso, Indiana. Tommy, thanks for being on. Anything jump out at you there when we talk about those livestock prices?
You know, looking at June hogs, they were at a level that you have to be respecting that level. They went up to 103, very hedgeable. Also moving over to cattle, a lot of our folks are becoming interested in LRP. Some folks don't like it, some people do, but the insurance, there is some rule changes coming to LRP insurance. We have a cattle on feed report tomorrow, and that could be interesting. We'll know those results after the close. We'll report back on that. But looking at the board, when I see that Dow Jones up 300 approaching 40,000, I think some people can still afford some proteins. I, like many others, just keep thinking the stock market's in trouble, and that doesn't look like a stock market that's in trouble. So today the Dow Jones is at 40,000. Maybe in a few months it'll be at 35,000, but those would still be elevated levels. I'm old enough to remember when I was standing outside the Dow Jones. Oh, here comes the dogs. Hey, I feel like Carly Garner. The dogs are barking. I'm old enough to remember when I had my Dow Jones 10,000 hat on outside the Dow Jones pit at the Board of Trade, and that felt like yesterday. But,
all righty.
As you know, time stops for no one, my friend.
No kidding. All right, brother. Thanks very much for that content. Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading, Valparaiso, Indiana. Bring it back home to Nashville and give it to you.